because he wants them to become holier through the process. St. Alphonsus Liguori said in one of his works, he said, this business of everybody thinking that God is always going to give them a grace all the time, even at their deathbed, is absurd. In fact, what he says is that there's a certain number of mortal sins that God preordains, and once that person reaches that point, he's going to pull the plug on the grace. And the person's just not going to be able to combat the diabolic. But that doesn't mean, of course, and how do we know this to be true? We know this to be true because there's the traditional church practice of praying for final perseverance and final penitence. If God always gave us a grace, even at our deathbed, all the time, to every single individual, why did the church ever start that devotion? It wouldn't make any sense, right? But so why am I going into this? The reason I'm going into this is that God will allow demons into people's lives sometimes to punish them. It's not too common. And usually it's because the person has made the decision that they are not going to get their act together. I'm not going to change. Therefore, I want this sin. I want this to happen. And so God will allow the demon into their life to afflict them, to show them what the true punishment is. He's literally giving them what is the product of their sin. What most people don't realize is that the proper effect of every mortal sin, is possession. So then people ask, well, wait a minute. Even I have said that the number of people that are possessed, we usually vet somewhere between 600 and 800 people a year, the society that I'm in, for diabolic influence. And out of that 600 to 800, only 3 on average, 2 or 3 a year are possessed. So you're talking about a very much less than 0.5%. So, but all these people are committing mortal sins today. You see that in the culture. And so why isn't it that so many people are possessed? Because it's very simple. It goes back to the principle, God controls the demons, not us. So even when we open up the door, it's up to God to determine whether he's going to allow